Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about alchemy. Alchemy's pretty whack, but I have about 2,000 years of it to go through, so let's just kind of go. So alchemy started way back in ancient Egypt under the rule of an ancient legendary leader who was like, hey, we should study some things. And he did, and he started publishing some books, and it'd be great if we could read them, but we can't because they all just kind of got burnt. So after that Egyptian ruler kind of did some stuff, the Greeks went and conquered a whole bunch of things, and so they spread all of their Greek philosophical thought. And after doing that, it goes to Egypt and Alexandria, which is basically just Greece and Egypt. And there, a whole bunch of Egyptian Greeks are like, hey, let's kind of explore some stuff. And so with all of the knowledge that they have combined, a whole bunch of proto-sciences start forming. And they're like, hey, let's go study some stuff. Alchemy is one of those sciences. So being one of the very primary sciences in the ancient world, alchemy had a very important place in the social circles of the scholarly elite, which meant that it even had a place in the Grand Library of Alexandria, which held almost all of the world's knowledge at that time. Prominent scholars during this time, like Mary the Jewess, made very important technological discoveries which have contributed even today as they're still being used, like the Mary's bath, for example. Now these scholars and stuff made more and more discoveries than we even know, but we don't know what they did because of the fact everything just got burnt by a lad by the name of Diocletian during the reign of the Roman Empire. After the fall of the Roman Empire, when it went from a big boy empire to a small boy empire, the proto-science of alchemy was actually preserved through the Islamic Golden Age, during which Islamic scholars translated works from Latin and Greek into Arabic, allowing it to be used by the wider Islamic world and be built upon by Islamic scholars. Scholars such as Jabir did such translations and also made several key discoveries, such as several acids and key elements, as well as founding some of the basic principles of the scientific method, such as the laboratory model and the importance of experiments. Then, in 1100, the Crusades began, and this allowed for many Arabic texts, including alchemical texts, to be brought back and analyzed and translated by monks in Europe. The translation of these alchemical texts really began in 1144, when Robert of Chester published the Arabic book of the Composition of Alchemy, which was a translation of many Arabic tomes of alchemy. This exposed Europe to alchemy for the first time in a text that could actually be read by the wider scholarly population. And this spread alchemy throughout Europe like a wildfire, meaning it was important in almost any intellectual field, such as universities and also the spiritual courts of the papacy. The popularity of alchemy at this time cannot be understated, as it dominated almost every intellectual field within Europe, becoming almost something of a fad during the intellectual revolution of the Renaissance. Anyone who was anyone either was an alchemist, had an alchemist on their payroll, or had an alchemist in their court. This meant that alchemy became tightly regulated, losing its occult and spiritual aspects and becoming something of a concrete science from which future sciences could be built upon. This all came to a head during the end of the Renaissance period, when a lad by the name of Robert Boyle published his scientific method, which was built upon by the previous sciences of alchemy, laying the foundation for us to discover the future atomic models that we now know, and allowing us to create the sciences that we have today. Alchemy as itself may not be a real science, but it was the foundation for all other sciences, and that cannot be undersaid.